Let's turn our attention now to political killings and violence, specifically in the Eastern Cape. ANC councillor Mzikayise Saki of Ward 2 in Dutywa was attacked and strangled to death at his home on Saturday evening. We understand his partner was also raped. For more on the story, let's bring in the head of communications of the ANC in the Eastern Cape. That's Ngqondi, who joins us now live from Gqeberha this Monday morning. It's great to have you on the program, sir. Thank you so much indeed for making time. I mean, in your statement, you aptly described this as absolutely shocking. I wonder what else you're able to tell us about what you know to have happened.
It's actually, good morning and good morning to your viewers. It's actually barbaric because yesterday morning we received this tragic news from the mayor of Bashe local municipality, Councillor Jana, that Councillor Mzikayise was killed on Saturday night whilst walking home with his girlfriend. And the unfortunate part is that also his girlfriend was being raped by the two assailants. We don't have more details on the investigation, but I can tell you and confirm to you now that we want to commend the swift action of the police because the two suspects were arrested yesterday morning in the same town of Dutywa in the province.
Yeah, and you know, it's difficult in a country like ours to separate what may just be arbitrary crime. Sadly, we live in a country where something like this is a reality, and instances where people are specifically targeted because of the role they play, in this instance, because he's a councillor.
No, of course, you must remember the critical role that is played by councillors, in particular ward councillors, in addressing issues of service delivery. And to us, it's just a disservice from members of the community to perpetrate these kinds of heinous crimes. And that's why we commend the role that has been played by the police, but also the community of Dutywa, who also identified one of the suspects. Because in the incident, we were informed that whilst one suspect was arrested by the police, the other suspect was driving past the scene, and one of the community members identified that this is also one of the person who was involved in the crime, and the police immediately pursued the suspect, and he was arrested, and that's why we are commending the swift action of the police. But we also want to make a strong appeal to our communities, and I think that this is in the view of the ANC, that we must strengthen our community policing forums in the areas where we live. We must also strengthen strict committees so that we identify criminals, we identify people because in fact most of the crimes that are perpetrated, some of them are linked to drugs, and that's why we want to appeal also to the police that they must be tough in people who are selling drugs and some of the drug dens, but also community must be involved directly in fighting these criminals.
So what, you reckon he was targeted specifically because he's a councillor?
We are not sure. That's why we don't have competence on investigation. That is the duty of the investigators. But what we are quite happy with is the swift action and the reaction of the police in immediately apprehending the suspects. And the good part is that the suspects, we are told, are also staying in the same village in Dutywa.
Sure. I mean, it's difficult not to also see this in light of the year that we're approaching, of course, right? The elections next year, and sadly in a country like ours, that's usually characterized by this kind of violence. Perhaps in this case, the suspect took it a step further with the rape of his partner. But how concerned are you that these are the early signs of what we're all too familiar with, sadly?
No, I can't say that. That would be immature for me. That would be irresponsible for me to make that kind of a prediction, because hence we are saying we are not investigators. That's why it's also good that the police have apprehended the assailants. We will hear that in court. But what we are sure of is that also the police is doing all their best. You must remember, let me also recall that earlier this year, one councillor was also killed in Dutywa in the same municipality. And the good thing is that the police apprehended those suspects who were involved in that heinous crime, and they are facing charges in court. So we're also complimenting the role that has been played by the police. But you also recall that there have been a lot of killings in the province, in areas like Gqeberha. And the good thing is that the police are doing all its best. Just a month ago, Dr. Dutywa was killed in KwaZakele in Gqeberha. And 3 suspects have already been arrested, and one of the suspects is the ex-wife of the doctor. You will recall also in January that 8 people were killed in KwaZakele, and there are already 5 suspects that have been arrested by the police, and they are appearing in court. So we're also complimenting and commending the role that has been played by law enforcement agencies in rooting out all these heartless criminals in our areas.
Yeah, for sure. But how many of those arrests have resulted in convictions, do you know?
Look, because of the cases I knew, most of them are appearing in court. And hence we are praying that they must be found guilty and sent to jail for a long period of time.
All right, Gift Ngqondi, thanks very much indeed for speaking to us. Really
Thanks very much.
disturbing story emerging there from Gqeberha in the Eastern Cape. Another ANC councillor sadly killed this weekend.